It is 85957, and it's Diecast Master's model of the Caterpillar 315 Excavator. The box goes on the weighbridge and it's just over £2, which is just under 1 kilogram. As usual, we have exemplary packaging, and we'll start by opening the outer shipping carton. Peel back the tape, lift out the flap, and we can pull out the nylon bag which covers the tin that holds the model. Let's continue with the unbagging, and we reach in and pull out the nice tin. As always, the printing is great, and it starts with a nice photo on the lid. On the front of the tin we can see the model, and with a flick of the wrist we can get to the back, and there we see some technical information about the real machine. Let's continue with the untinning, and we remove the lid. As usual, there's some paperwork in the top, and that we'll look at in a few moments. After that, it's time to get your fingers stuck in and pull out the top layer of foam rubber, and there's the model sitting in the bottom of the tin. In goes the giant hand crane and carefully lifts out the model, and then there's some bloke who's always sitting down, and there's also a couple of plastic tools. Let's continue with the unwrapping, and there's some protection to remove from the crawler tracks, and there's also an elastic band to keep things closed. Back to the paperwork, and there is the usual mini brochure, but weirdly this one is dated 2020. So for some reason it's an old brochure put in the tin. Or maybe we're in a strange time warp. Also provided is a single sheet which details operator manhandling procedures. Let's take the lid off this one, and the cab roof just lifts off. And the first thing that allows us to do is to take a look inside the cab. And you can see it's well detailed, including Caterpillar on the seat back. After that we can now move to install the operator. And as you can see, he goes in easily if you manhandle him with the lack of respect that he deserves. In return for his good behaviour, we'll put the roof back on the top of the cab. With the model fully configured, let's put it on the weighbridge, and it's just over 9 ounces, which is 265 grams. Starting underneath, the detail is fairly simple, but the metal tracks look good. There are some markings underneath to indicate the model number. Right side up, the track frames are simple enough, and there are no graphic markings, it's all just painted. The machine has a smooth dozing blade, and there are wear plate details along the bottom edge, and there are plastic protection plates to the hydraulic rams. Detailing on the exterior of the cab includes a plastic mirror and a roof aerial, and 315 appears as a graphic in the rear window. The front grab rail is indicated as a solid part of the casting. At the rear, the engine panel on the review model does not fit quite so well, and that appears to be a consequence of the way the hinge is fitted. At the back there's a video camera location and sharp graphics. On the opposite side, the opening engine panel looks much better and appears to be properly fitted. There are small graphics which add detail and metal handrails. Looking down on top, and there are various textures above the engine, and there's a small plastic exhaust pipe. Hydraulic hoses run to cast-in pipes which then run up to more hoses. This side of the boom and stick shows how it's made, with insertions into the outer castings. Soft hoses continue to the stick, and at the end of the stick there's a riveted bucket, and it's got defined teeth. Into the review site comes the model on a low loader, and the giant hand crane unloads it. Just like any low quality operator, the first thing we do is flip it over, and then we can see the tracks are being rolled. Although they can be rolled, they're not particularly free rolling, and they tend to snag a little bit in various places. The dozing blade can be posed in the up position, but there's not enough strength in the rams to hold the model up when the blade is lowered fully. Moving on to rotating the machine, and that works well enough, although it did seem that the review model was slightly tilted in one direction, and seems to lean forward slightly towards the blade. Let's move on to the movement of the boom, stick and bucket, and as you can see they reach out reasonably well, but there's not enough strength in the rams to hold that pose. However, the general range of movement is very good, so you can get a tight pose if you close up the boom and stick. One thing we like to check is the ability to dig at depth, and on this the model performs very well. The boom almost fully retracts on its hydraulic rams. The model does have many other features, and the first of these is an opening cab door. A small plastic pointer is provided to enable you to get into the crack and open it up, and the range of movement of the door is of just a bit less than 90 degrees. We've seen that one rear panel doesn't fit quite so well, but it does open properly, and that gives you a good look inside the machine, and there's some interesting engine detail. So in this respect the model poses perfectly well with the panel open, and the fit on the opposite side is really much better. Again, opening the door reveals some interesting details. But wait, there's more. There's another opening panel on top of the engine. As usual, this is a very well presented model by Diecast Masters. It generally has a high standard of detailing, and there's a great deal of additional functionality in terms of opening panels and covers. The build quality on this model wasn't quite up to Diecast Masters' usual standards, and overall, if you're looking for a smaller sized excavator, this one is very good.